The Brussels Airport diamond heist is considered one of the most daring and skillfully executed robberies in recent history, a heist that captured global attention for its sheer audacity and its success despite strict security protocols. On the night of February 18, 2013, 8 heavily armed men dressed as police officers descended upon Brussels Airport in Belgium, one of Europe's largest transportation hubs, with a mission to steal a fortune in uncut and cut diamonds. The diamonds, valued at approximately $50 million, had been transported from Antwerp, Belgium's diamond capital, and were destined for Zurich, Switzerland. This heist, which would go on to be known as the Brussels Airport Diamond Heist, stunned both law enforcement and the global diamond trade. The robbers had meticulously planned every aspect of the operation, spending days studying the airport's security routines, observing the schedule of diamond shipments, and identifying the most vulnerable point of entry along the perimeter fence. On the night of the heist, at precisely 7:47 p.m., the 8 men arrived in 2 black vehicles equipped with blue flashing police lights. They had also disguised themselves in police uniforms to make their presence appear legitimate to anyone who might spot them. Approaching the airport with the appearance of authority, they managed to avoid drawing suspicion. The men's goal was the runway where a Swiss plane, operated by Helvetic Airways, was awaiting takeoff. This plane was loaded with around 120 parcels of diamonds that had been brought from Antwerp earlier that day, representing millions of dollars in value. Despite the presence of security personnel around the airport, the robbers were able to avoid detection by cutting through the airport's perimeter fence, which should have been a secure boundary but was left vulnerable due to various overlooked weaknesses. Driving directly onto the tarmac, they headed straight toward the plane. At this point, airport staff, ground crew, and the pilots of the plane were stunned to see police vehicles approaching with such speed and intensity. However, the appearance of blue police lights and officers in uniform allayed any initial suspicions. The robbers jumped out of their vehicles, quickly displaying firearms and ordering everyone to cooperate. Despite being armed and capable of extreme violence, the robbers showed a striking level of restraint. They didn't fire a single shot, using intimidation and the element of surprise to maintain control over the situation. The ground crew and pilots, unsure of what was happening, were too intimidated to resist. In a series of fast, precise movements, the robbers began loading the diamonds from the plane's cargo hold into their vehicles. They knew that every second mattered and had coordinated their movements to minimize any delay. The entire heist lasted just a few minutes from start to finish, so brief that it was later dubbed the lightning heist in the media. Within less than 5 minutes, the robbers had completed their mission. They left the runway with the diamonds securely in their possession, driving back through the cut in the fence and disappearing into the night. By the time airport security raised the alarm, the robbers had already made a clean getaway, leaving behind only a gaping hole in the fence and a stunned airport staff. The airport was in an uproar as Belgian authorities scrambled to initiate an investigation. Law enforcement agencies, including the Belgian Federal Police, launched a massive operation to track down the robbers, but the criminals had left almost no evidence behind. It was suspected early on that some form of inside assistance had been provided, as the robbers had operated with such precision that it was unlikely they had planned the heist solely from outside observation. Despite this, the initial investigations were largely inconclusive, with no clear suspects and few leads. Weeks of relentless inquiry finally yielded some breakthroughs. Several suspects were eventually apprehended, all of whom had previous criminal records and potential ties to organized crime networks. However, even after these arrests, the vast majority of the diamonds remained missing. Investigators speculated that the diamonds had been swiftly moved to the black market, likely sold in small batches across different locations to avoid arousing suspicion. This move would make tracking the stones nearly impossible. Although the authorities managed to arrest some suspects, the identity of the mastermind behind the operation remains unknown. The whereabouts of most of the stolen diamonds also continue to be a mystery. This heist not only sent shockwaves through Belgium's diamond industry, but also exposed major vulnerabilities in airport security, especially concerning high-value goods. The robbery demonstrated how well-prepared and organized criminals could easily bypass even sophisticated security systems at an international airport, sparking widespread concern. International news outlets covered the heist extensively, describing it as one of the largest and most well-coordinated diamond robberies in history. For Belgium, the robbery was an embarrassment that led to major questions about the security protocols for valuable cargo transport and even forced diamond companies to reconsider their methods for transporting such precious stones. This heist stands as a somber reminder of how criminals, with enough planning and inside knowledge, can infiltrate spaces presumed to be highly secure. Since then, airports worldwide have reassessed their security measures, taking additional precautions to prevent a similar incident. More than a decade later, the Brussels airport diamond heist remains an unsolved mystery, a case study of criminal brilliance, and a story of diamonds stolen in minutes but sought for years, capturing the imaginations of crime enthusiasts and security experts alike.